What if I told you that the biggest breakthrough of your life, the moment that changes everything, isn't hidden in some new tactic, new connection, or stroke of luck, but in the way you choose to think when life gets hard? This is not just another motivational message. This is a blueprint for the man in the middle of the storm. A man who's been knocked down, doubted himself, and asked, "Do I still have what it takes?" The answer, yes, but not through willpower alone. Through a trained mind, through a positive mental attitude. You see, adversity is not the end of your story. It's the invitation to begin a new chapter, a stronger chapter, a wiser chapter, one written by a man who no longer reacts emotionally, but responds intentionally. Because when everything around you breaks, it's your attitude that builds. You don't control what happens, you never did. But you do control what it means to you. You do control how long you stay down. You do control whether this pain becomes your prison or your platform. And let me be clear, you don't need perfect conditions to move forward. You need a mind that refuses to be conquered. This kind of mind isn't born, it's built. Built in the dark, built when you get up one more time after failing, built when no one claps, no one helps, but you show up anyway. A positive mental attitude isn't fake cheerfulness. It's not pretending everything's okay. It's having the power of perspective, the ability to say, this is hard, but it's not the end. I am not a victim. I am a creator. You, my friend, were not made to be passive.
You were made to stand tall in the fire.
To speak power in the silence. To choose discipline over doubt, purpose over pain, and faith over fear. Because the man who masters his attitude masters his future. Let the world do what it does. Let the storms come. Let the losses stack. Let the critics talk. You stay unshaken. You keep your vision. You keep your integrity. You keep your mind strong, because that's the real breakthrough. Not what changes out there, but what changes in here. So rise up, not with noise, not with ego, but with conviction. Because when your mindset is unbreakable, so is your life. Adversity is often misunderstood. Most men resist it, curse it, or attempt to outrun it, believing it to be a punishment or an unfortunate detour. But what if adversity isn't your enemy at all? What if it is your most precise and honest advisor? In every hardship, there lies not just discomfort, but instruction. Life doesn't hand out wisdom in quiet moments of comfort. It carves it into your character through pressure, friction, and pain. The man who sees adversity as destruction remains blind to its design, but the man who dares to examine his struggle with calm intelligence and inner stillness discovers its value. Adversity strips away the illusions. It removes distractions. It forces a man to confront what he truly believes, what he truly desires, and what he's truly made of. There is a purity in pain. It doesn't lie. It shows you your limits, but it also shows you the door to transcend them. When the plans fall apart and nothing goes according to script, you are presented with a question far more powerful than any strategy. Who are you now? Most breakthroughs in life do not come wrapped in celebration. They come disguised as crises. Adversity teaches you to listen differently, to listen inwardly. It sharpens your thinking, elevates your awareness, and if you let it, it redefines your relationship with challenge. You begin to understand that growth is not linear and progress is rarely polite. True transformation emerges through deliberate struggle, through the furnace of uncertainty, where only a trained mind can find meaning in the chaos. To the untrained eye, adversity appears as misfortune, but to the man who thinks with clarity and depth, it is precision-crafted guidance, life's method of shaping him for responsibilities and rewards he cannot yet see, but is being prepared to carry. Circumstances, no matter how turbulent or tranquil, are never the true architects of character. They are merely the canvas. The brush, the movement, the design all stem from choice. A man is not defined by the storms he walks through, but by the decisions he makes within them. In the face of pressure, uncertainty, and pain, it is not the event itself that holds power. It is the meaning we assign to it. Two men can endure the same hardship and emerge utterly different, not because of what happened, but because of how they chose to interpret and respond to what happened. Every decision, especially under duress, sculpts the internal architecture of the mind. When you choose patience instead of panic, discipline instead of disorder, reflection instead of reaction, you aren't just surviving, you are evolving. What appears external is actually internal, in disguise. The world mirrors back to us the sum of our decisions. And if we wish to alter our reality, we must first master the choices that build it. That begins not with changing circumstances, but with taking full ownership of the space between stimulus and response. It is a silent but sacred power, the ability to pause, observe, and decide who you will be in this exact moment. That moment, repeated over time, becomes identity. Identity then becomes destiny. You may be surrounded by chaos, but you are not required to act chaotically. You may feel pressure, but you are not forced to crumble. These are choices, acts of mental sovereignty. And every time you choose to rise in thought, to lead yourself instead of being led by impulse, you become more than a product of environment. You become the author of it. The decision, not the condition, is what defines the man. A positive mental attitude is often misunderstood as shallow optimism or blind cheerfulness, but in truth it is neither naive nor passive. It is not the denial of difficulty nor the artificial smile worn in the face of pain. Rather, it is the disciplined control of thought in alignment with higher purpose. It is the trained mental posture that resists the pull of despair, chaos, and self-pity, and instead seeks out the opportunity buried within the problem. This kind of thinking requires strength, not softness, precision, not pretense. To develop a positive mental attitude is to take full responsibility for the quality and direction of your inner life. It demands mental clarity, emotional maturity, and the relentless ability to focus not on what has been lost, but on what can still be built. This attitude is forged, not found. It is created through deliberate repetition of thought patterns that serve your growth, not your fear. You train your mind the same way you train your body, through resistance, through discomfort, through discipline, and over time, that training becomes temperament. When the world around you offers no guarantee, the mind becomes your only constant. You begin to realize that life is less about what happens to you and more about the meaning you bring to those events. A disciplined mind does not run from adversity. It studies it. It asks what this moment requires of me, not emotionally, but mentally and spiritually. It looks beyond the surface and finds power in perspective. This is not the power of illusion. It is the power of interpretation. The mind, properly trained, becomes a filter that extracts wisdom from suffering, strength from struggle, and direction from chaos. A positive mental attitude is not something you fake. It is something you forge in the fire of awareness. The mind is both master and servant, capable of constructing realities or dismantling them, depending on who holds the reins. Left untrained, it becomes a mechanism of reaction, drifting with fear, shaped by environment, swayed by emotion. But under discipline, it transforms into an instrument of extraordinary clarity and power. The critical distinction is control. The man who does not intentionally govern his thinking is in effect governed by it. He becomes a prisoner to inherited beliefs, emotional impulses, and external pressures he neither questions nor understands. Every thought permitted without inspection leaves a fingerprint on the psyche. Over time, these thoughts form patterns, and those patterns form behaviors. Thus, if a man wishes to change his life, he must first change the architecture of his inner world. This demands conscious effort, not once, but continuously. The mind is always at work. The question is whether it is working for you or against you. Control is not suppression, but awareness. It is the ability to step back from a rising emotion, assess the quality of a thought, and decide deliberately whether it serves your higher purpose or sabotages it. Mastery of the mind begins in silence. In stillness, a man can hear the quiet voice beneath the noise, the voice of reason, intuition, and principle. From this place, he learns to respond rather than react, to guide rather than be guided. The one who rules his thoughts does not require perfect conditions, nor does he fear uncertainty. His sense of direction comes from within, anchored not in fleeting moods, but in enduring truth. In every moment of challenge, there exists a choice to be led by thought or to lead it. The difference is subtle in appearance, but profound in outcome. The man who controls his mind holds the keys to every locked door. Success is rarely born in comfort. It is forged in the heat of resistance, through the discipline of enduring what others escape. The illusion that greatness is reserved for those who wait for ideal timing is the very belief that keeps men idle. Waiting for perfect conditions is a strategy of hesitation, not wisdom. The man who understands the nature of progress recognizes that the storm itself is the training ground. He does not resent difficulty. He studies it, moves through it, and allows it to refine his craft and character alike. Fire does not apologize for its heat, and life does not apologize for its tests. But within each test lies the opportunity to sharpen one's mind, deepen one's resolve, and expand one's capacity to act under pressure. There are no soft paths to hard outcomes. Strength, both mental and moral, is developed under weight, under contradiction, uncertainty, and doubt. The man who conditions himself in these moments becomes immune to circumstance. He ceases to rely on mood or external validation. His internal stability becomes his greatest asset. What appears as chaos to the untrained eye is merely raw material to the one prepared to build. He recognizes that control over conditions is limited, but control over preparedness is absolute. He does not negotiate with discomfort. He leverages it. He knows that initiative is not waiting for the right time. It is the ability to move wisely in imperfect time. Progress is not delayed by resistance. It is activated by it. Every challenge presents a chance not to merely endure, but to evolve. Not to survive, but to sharpen. Conditions may be chaotic, but the man who has trained his mind to see opportunity where others see defeat will never be without direction, because the storm reveals what serenity conceals. The future does not bend to chance. It responds to conviction. While many wait for luck, hoping that fortune will one day stumble into their path, the man of vision understands a deeper law, that life unfolds according to the posture of one's mind. Attitude is not decoration. It is architecture. It is not a reaction to the world, but a preemptive shaping of it. Those who master their inner world do not wait for evidence to believe. They believe with such depth and clarity that their belief becomes the evidence. The idea that success arrives by external accident neglects the truth that every enduring achievement is first a product of unseen resolve. It begins in the invisible domain of thought, of habit, of repeated internal dialogue. A man's future is constructed in silence long before it is recognized in public. To control that process, to guide it with precision, demands that one protect the mind from the slow erosion of doubt and the quiet decay of passivity. Attitude, when grounded in principle, becomes not just a defense against failure, but an offense against mediocrity. Belief, however, is not mere hope. It is disciplined confidence. It is the ability to stand rooted when outcomes are unclear, to move forward when others hesitate, to speak powerfully to oneself when silence threatens to become self-abandonment. Relentless resolve is not brute force. It is sustained alignment between intention, thought, and action. It is the quiet decision made daily to remain loyal to one's purpose, regardless of pace or praise. The man who refuses to yield to circumstance and instead trains his thoughts to obey vision is the man whose results appear to others as inevitable, not because of magic, but because of mastery. He does not wait for permission. He acts with authority born from internal dominion.
Thank you. If you like this video, please one click on like and subscribe our channel for my daily motivations.